Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode from the Paperhats Survival Multiplayer server. My name is Glitch. Well, to, it's a great day here in the land of Wildwood, but to be honest, I'm not entirely sure I can say that I'm itching to dive into today's projects. You see, I have got the same problem that I wind up with in every Minecraft world. Today, I need to work on getting myself organized a little bit, and trying to clean up my base just a little bit. But in all seriousness, today I want to work on getting a storage system together, and also hopefully setting up a home for me so that my bed isn't just a random bed that I slap down next to the portal. Now, off camera, I've been working on uh kind of laying in the lay planning out the pathing that I want to do. Um I do have some ideas that are kind of still in development, but I started a path going in that direction. Not sure what I want to do over there, but I have the path to the sleeping hut, the path over to the wool farm. Like I said, I do want to get a house together for me. So I started a path going that way. I kind of want to put my house over by the other river. And I do need to get a storage system together. I think it's going to wind up over in that direction. Um, Beyond that, I've been working on farming up the resources that I need to, get things set up in a little bit more of an organized fashion. For example, I did start a chest here for my pathing supplies. Um, while I do want to use dripstone blocks because I love the texture, part of the challenge this season is to use blocks I'm uncomfortable. So I went ahead and decided I was going to use granite and polished granite. I've never really been a big fan of the texture, but I want to see what I can do with it. Also, did use packed mud, partially because I do like that texture. The other thing being the fact that all three of these will give me stairs and slabs if I have to go up or down a level in the pathing. Went ahead and used some terracotta. I figured that would add a little bit of color and just even though it's very plain textured, it might add just that little bit of color to it. Last but not least, I wanted to try using brown mushroom blocks. I've never used them before, but um, earlier in the season, I farmed up a bunch of spruce wood using giant spruce trees, and that left me with a bunch of puzzle, which meant I could go ahead and farm up the mushroom blocks by bone mealing brown mushrooms, and therefore, work on um, work on gathering the materials that I need for that. I do have a couple of an idea of what I want to do here in this center area that kind of winding up being kind of not exactly circular, not exactly I don't know what kind of shape to call this, but however, I've got an idea what I want to do here, but that is very much a work in progress. And to be honest, I'm gonna have to wait till I've gathered more dripstone um for that. And it's night. Let me quick run inside. One other thing I did wind up doing was I set up a reminder box, basically just a shulker box with placeholder tools and my netherite. That way, as I get the diamonds, I can dupe up the smithing template and work on. Well, once this is full, I guess I'll have a netherite upgrade party. And you know what? Let me just grab some sleep really quick. There we go. One more thing I did do off camera was I went ahead and set up a pumpkin farm. Um, I would like to also get rid of all this torch spam around, and since I know that the torches are in a good position to block spawns, I figured I would set up jack-o'-lanterns because I could just carve the pumpkins and then break the torch, use that torch to make the jack-o'-lantern, and I know in that spot it's going to cover a decent amount of area. The nice part is this pumpkin farm, it's mud on the inside, and there's a hopper line right under that. Since mud's not technically speaking, not a full block, the pumpkins break, they go into the hoppers, and then they can be collected here in the chest. and it's doing decent, or at least for my purposes. So that covers kind of the material ends of it. Beyond that, it's time to, well, stop waiting around and work on actually getting organized. Because, well, as you can see, I've got chests and shulker boxes just about everywhere, and I'm never going to get this project started if I don't actually, well, get it started. So I think it's time to grab some materials and get the storage system set up. I will be right back. Okay, that is the last of it. Oh wow, that took that was a big job. But it does feel good to look around my base and not just see a huge amount of chests and shulker boxes everywhere. I went ahead and went with my tried and true storage system with some automated storage on this side, manual storage on this side. It's worked for a long time, and well, to be frank, I do really like it. Did Even though I don't need to, I need to eventually get a roof over this and build some kind of a storage room or a storage area. I haven't really decided. I'm playing with some designs. I did want to put the floor in. I wanted to try and do something a little more colorful. So I went ahead and tried for the first time ever glazed terracotta. And I gotta admit, I wasn't really sure how it would look, but I think it came out really nice with the light blue concrete using the light blue glazed terracotta and then the sandstone in the middle. I know I still need to play around with how I want to set it up, but I'm kind of working on ideas for possibly comboing the storage area and maybe a barn-ish area for like some animals. At some point, I would like to have a stable around here too. Um, but uh, that is the storage system all set up, and it's gonna come together over time. But at least I know where everything is. Did did have one other idea come to me. I know I said just a few moments ago that I have plans for this area. These are not those plans. I did realize though, with the storage system coming in, that I needed to farm up a bunch of honey. Both the honey comb, because I want to wax the signs. That way, every time I go to open a chest, I don't accidentally click on the sign and well start adding in a string of E's. The other thing that I came across just watching a video, just a random video from Pixel Riffs. I noticed him using doing this. It's just an azalea sapling with a moss block on top of it. Um, I really like the look of it for the bush, and wanted to try using it to as I worked in the pathing. That means I'm gonna have to farm up a good bit of azaleas because these saplings will never grow unless they are bone meal. Um, and well, the other thing being the fact that um, the moss also needs to be bone meal to create it. So I also need to farm up some honey blocks for another future redstone project. But long story short, that means I am going to need a whole lot of bone meal. However, a recent discovery kind of helped me with that. Let me explain. You see, off camera, I have been doing also some mining, and incidentally, I did also decide that I was going to use what was the storage area to set up kind of an enchanting area. An enchanting area, and I have to say right off the bat, the chisel bookshelves, while they do not add to the levels on the enchantment table, man, they look good. Just adding them in, it just the randomness looks so good. Plus, I wanted to add in a potion brewing area, just so that it looks. Well, I mean, like I've said in previous seasons, I know we have a community one, but I don't know. It just seems like this is something that should be in every Minecraft home. Um, and plus, also the experience I get might help with the enchanting. But well, like I said, we need to head to the mine. Okay, here we go. So not long ago, I was doing some mining, and I heard a whole bunch of skeletons. So I started doing a little digging around, and I found, well, the mossy cobblestone and cobblestone, and I didn't put it there, so that means I found myself a skelly spawner. And while the loot wasn't the greatest, it did. Well, I've always maintained that skeleton spawners are one of the best dungeons, just for the amounts of XP and the usefulness of crops. And you can see that I kind of blocked off the cave over here. But um, the other thing that happened was while I came out into this cave system, just basically just blocking it up, lighting it up, blocking it off. Wanted to make sure that the mob spawns were controlled best I could. But while I was doing that, and that is there for paranoia's sake, I heard the distinctive sound of a mob walking around on amethyst. So I did more digging around, and wouldn't you know it, almost right above the skeleton spawner is a geode. And while that's one, just really cool, it does mean that I have an unlimited source of amethyst for things like, well, the block itself, and also for things like tinted glass. So I guess my next step is I need to get myself a skelly grinder going. So I'm gonna grab some materials, and I will be right back. Well, that's a bit of a challenge. Given how low down the spawner is in the world, yeah, I'm hitting bedrock. I'm gonna have to rethink a few things. Okay, wow, that took a lot more work than I was expecting. I've built these skelly grinders in the past, but wow, it was one of those redstone projects where you get one block wrong and the whole thing breaks, and you just sit there for what seems like hours, just scratching your head. Nonetheless, though, nice part is got the standard 9x9 room, and I also went ahead and made sure to leave some. I wired up some redstone lamps in there just so that I can actually turn it off if there is or ever is a time when I need to get in there and do maintenance. Plus, also, it may help if I'm just down here working. But the nice part is, like with most skelly grinders, I can just walk up to this, and when the skeletons fall in, just give them a good swipe, and they are, well, the tinted glasses here, so they cannot see me, but also, if ever there is also a time where I just want to grind for bone meal, I can flick this other switch, and basically it'll swap out a magma block, which will automatically kill the skeletons, and then send their drops into the sorting system. Now, in the past, I did this using, well, your basic storage system. This gets complicated, but basically, there's a hopper line running all along here. But I wanted to, since I primarily don't need that many bones, I wanted to go ahead and somehow get the bones into bone meal. And then I realized that, well, there's the crafter. And the nice part is, um, the crafter basically works that it will the bones will feed down into well, actually, so they're going to sort into here. I've got my filler, and it's a standard item filter, but then they feed down through here. This loops around to this crafter, which has only one slot. Therefore, the bones themselves will be broken down to bone meal, and then they'll go into this crafter, which once it fills up with the 9 slots, will spit out bone blocks and make it so that I can go ahead and just gather up bone meal whenever I need to. Put in another one over here for arrows, and one over here for, well, just the miscellaneous detritus that usually comes from a skelly grinder. But the nice part is those bows can be used for dispensers, and also you can burn them. Beyond that, I have to confess, this took way longer than I thought it was going to. But now that I've got it all done, I want to make this place look somewhat decent. Because it's one thing to have, a skelly grinder and have the farm, but it's part of the challenge. So wait a second. I wonder. No. Not really. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh. Ooh. That's got potential. I think I just got an idea. Because, well, while I'm challenging myself this season to work on making my builds look a little better, why not make my farms look a little better too? Now, incidentally, off camera, I went ahead and put in a rail system because, well, even though it's not very far, it's not even to the end of the peninsula. I was burning through so much of my hunger bar just running back and forth. This just seemed like a good workaround. But one of the things I decided was, well, to kind of go with one of the places where you can find skeletons in the world itself, and I decided to, for the skelly grinder, go with a rather a nether fortress kind of vibe. I figured as we're coming in, we could go with this kind of nether the nether brick fence, and I spent a lot of time down in the nether mining all this nether rack for the nether brick. Uh, did get some more ancient debris though. But the nice part is, with this setup, I've got my AFK room over here if I ever just need the bone meal. But also, if, for example, like right now where my tools are really hurt, I can come in and I can go ahead and just turn this on. That'll bring the skeleton in. They go into a water channel that will bring them up over and drop them in the kill chamber. The good part is the fact that it was a good workaround for the fact of something I couldn't, well, work around. The fact that I hit bedrock. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off. I don't want too many of these guys at once. But the other good part is if I ever have a point where I don't want to just get XP, I can go ahead and just quick swap over to the magma blocks. These guys will take damage and then they'll die. Their drops will still go into the storage system, but that will simplify things quite a bit. The storage looks pretty simple on the surface. Uh, I wanted to I'm working also to hide my redstone in sight. So right now, here's the storage. I do have to say I do have a challenge with all the bows I've got. I haven't figured out item disposal yet, but for right now, I'll probably uh, combine those up and either use them in dispensers or something like that. Definitely going to have an unlimited supply of arrows, but even in just the time it took me to build this skelly grinder, I've got a good amount of bone blocks. The one other thing I wanted to make sure that I had was access to the geode up above. So I figured, why not? Since I'm doing this kind of uh, Nether Fortress vibe. I mean, yes, the lighter floor, while it goes nicely and contrasts nicely with the ceiling, it does brighten things up in here a little bit. But I figured I'd kind of come back in the hall, and since there is basalt in the Nether as well, why not kind of go with that theme? But then, as you come around the corner, you realize there's some more to it, and you enter into the geode, and you just come up and when I need amethyst, I can just come up, pick the scaffolding up, and I can farm an unlimited amount of amethyst. Do have to confess, I don't think I'm actually going to like mine this out and break this so that it's super efficient. I don't need that much amethyst, but yeah, it it came out looking really really good. I figured I'd add in some of the buds here and work them at different stages with preservers so that they I don't know, just makes it look more like it's an organic part of of the ground. Now I did still need access to the redstone, so I also put in a jeb door, half jeb door, so I can come back in here and still access the redstone. Um, uh, it's a class. It's basically a classic item sorter, but one of the things that's great is the fact that the crafter is just so clutch, because this one will break the bones down into bone meal. This one will, as it fills up, put them into bone blocks, which will then spit it out, and it will go straight into the chest out there. Like I said, I am gonna have to figure out item disposal at some point in the future, but for now, the skelly grinder is looking really good, which will definitely help me with the infrastructure I need and, well, gathering a lot of the materials I need that kind of take a lot of bone meal. For now, though, I think my next project is going to take me back up to the surface to work on something just a little more close to home. Or maybe I should say, bringing home just a little closer to me. Because, like I said at the start of the episode, I really love how my base is coming together. Yes, there are some parts that are work in progress, but to be perfectly honest, it's coming out a lot nicer than some of the bases I've had in the past. But that being said, yeah, presently my bed is either a bed I slept down in the little sleeping box or up by the portal, and I would really like a permanent home. So I think it's time to actually work to put a roof over my head. So let me grab some materials and let's get this housing project started. Welcome back, and I hope you enjoyed the time lapse. You know, it feels really good to finally have a roof over my head. But that being said, it is interesting to me that this season has kind of turned into a builds of days gone by and memories. In my first survival world with the fam, we wound up repurposing a jungle temple for a home, and then in the first survival SMP I ever played on, well, this house is taken from that, and it was really nice to kind of bring this back, considering I only have, well, basically two screenshots of that original house, and I really love the design. Um, I do have to also say that I think this season's going to be the tough season, given that the tough block has become my favorite building block. I'm still trying to vary things up, but I'm also challenging, also it's been an interesting challenge to take a texture that I'm comfortable with, like the tough bricks, but scatter in other variations like the tough itself, the polished tough, using the tough stairs for uh the eaves of the roof to give all of that there and kind of give variations, but still have it look coherent and nice. Went ahead and started laying out a path. Eventually, very soon, I need to start working on actually laying in. But taking a look inside, I went ahead and set up a little kitchen area. It's nothing fancy, although it does give me a place for storage for food and a little extra storage here and there. I still need to move all my books over here and kind of add them into the chisel bookshelf. I did say that I wanted to take care of my cats a little better, so I went ahead and built them a cat tree. So I've got Snowflake up there and Patches down in her cat bed. And I'm thinking they're looking a bit happier. I did also want to make sure that I got Coco and Rusty over here. But this does make me realize that I'm going to need to, at some point, repurpose the sleeping hut because pretty much now it's just empty. But I also wanted to have the some of the different utility blocks around, and um, and also just have my desk area. Again, I really enjoy having that in every Minecraft world. Upstairs, I went ahead and set up my bedroom. This was one of my favorite features. I always really enjoyed doing a loft bedroom type of area. I don't know. It just seems like it's still a part of the house and still open concept, but still very, very cozy. Downstairs, I wanted to do just some adventure stuff. So I started setting up a display of the armors. Yes, I am aware that there are new armors coming and I'll have to add them in. Also, still missing a couple of pieces here and there. But it gives me just a nice place to just do a display and have some fun with it. Eventually, I'm going to hang up some maps. I'd still need to generate those and kind of get a look around at the surrounding area. Also set up a little target range. It's based on my Skull Shootout Season 3. There is a comparator behind um, this target block that goes into this block. This barrel is empty right now, but I'm going to add in some of the leftover nether brick. That'll give this comparator an output, and therefore it will make it so that I can vary what it takes to actually light up the light. Just to, just have some fun with target practice. And last up, I wanted to have some, just some fun. So I set up just a little parkour practice area in this space, just frankly, because I had the room. And, goal is still to hit the bell. And, well, I don't know. I may play with configurations, but it's been fun to just toy around with it, see what I could do. Last up, out here on the deck, I wanted to make sure that since I have this really, really beautiful river coming through here, that I had an area where I could just come out on the deck, look around. I've got a safe place to land if I'm flying in from adventures, or even if I come in by boat, I can do that and come up and go back into the house as well. But all in all, I am really, really happy with how the house came out, and just some of the kind of nostalgic memories it brings back. And speaking of things that are rooted in the past, Now that my house is in order, I really want to get out and do a little more adventuring. I mean, I made some great discoveries in this episode, but, well, while I was out exploring around and gathering materials, something so simple as landing to restock my rockets led me to yet another discovery. So next time, we're going to head back out, but stay in the immediate vicinity and explore something buried in the ground that may have a few interesting tales that are buried right in our backyard. But that is going to have to wait for next time. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like. And also consider subscribing if you want to see more content like this. My name is Glitch, and I do hope we'll see you next time for the next episode on the Paperhats Survival Multiplayer server. Thanks for watching.